Welcome and good noon. I finally got that right. Good noon. Good middle of the day. Good Sunday. Um, Good for you for being here. And I thank you for that. Welcome to our weekly spiritual spa, your Sunday spiritual indulgence. I like the thought of that. Isn't that fun? This is something good that you do for you. And hopefully through you it then has repercussions that do good for your family, your community, your world. We'd like to think that. We're here to help you feel better if you're feeling bad, and to help you feel even better if you're feeling fine. It's all about getting in touch with the spirit within you and trusting that. And that's what we're here to talk about. Hello, Jennifer. Good noon to you as well. See, you've got it right. I still have to make myself notes to say it. But thank you. So here's a thought. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, used to open his radio and his television show with the words, "There is a power for good in the universe, and you can use it." I believe that. I so believe that. But I also believe that we can't not use it, and therein is the challenge. See, I believe we are using it all the time because it is done unto us by that power for good in the universe according to our belief. The important part of Dr. Holmes' admonition, I think, was to remember to use it for good. If you believe that the world is a great place, that you are good in it, that things are working out for you, then that power for good in the universe is going to grab onto those thoughts and create that for you. But if you believe the world sucks, if you believe that life is hard, that it has to be hard, that it's always been hard and it's always going to be hard, then that power for universe says yes. It has a one-word vocabulary, my friends, and that word is yes. And it says yes to whatever it is you believe. So I'm going to ask you to go within for a moment and just consider this idea. We are here to remember who we are. We are children of creation. We are here to remember that we are created in the image and likeness of God, of creation, of whatever you choose to call the creative motivating force of the universe. It doesn't care what you call it. We are here to heal our misunderstandings and to learn to release whatever beliefs may no longer serve us. We are here to be awake, to inspire, to uplift, to heal, and to make whole our families, our friends, our world, and ourselves. We are here to learn how to use our divine inheritance as children of creation to make our lives and our world a better place. Yeah? Then I'd like you to repeat after me. Centered in spirit, I know that there is a creative, motivating power in the universe. That there is a creative, motivating power in the universe. It is the intelligence, the power, and the love behind all of creation. And it is the life within me. I know it. I feel it. I believe it. And I accept it. And so it is. Okay, my friends. Okay, now Heidi has managed to combine the best of all of her worlds, hasn't she? She's on her iPad in the garden. I love it. We'll talk about gravity, Kirk. We'll talk about gravity. So, here's my question for you today. Something to think about, if you will. How close are you to that power for good that Ernest Holmes talked about? A prayer away? A thought away? A confession away? A lifetime away? Now, really, it's just you and God there. No one else can hear you. You don't have to talk out loud if there's someone else in the room. Just think on this. How far away do you really believe you are? Huh? And what can we do to shrink that distance? So far, I like your answers. So, let me talk at you for a few minutes here. Let's see where this gets us. Okay? Because I want to talk to you today about separation. Specifically for the moment, about the idea of 6 degrees of separation, which is the theory that everyone and everything is 6 or fewer steps away by way of introduction from any other person in the world. So that a chain of a friend of a friend of a friend statements can be made to connect any 2 people in an average of 6 steps. We've all had that experience, haven't we? You're talking to someone who was a perfect stranger or who you've known for a while but never really gotten to know all that well. And suddenly you say something like, well, so-and-so, and they go, oh, do you mean? Cac and I had that experience very early on. We were getting to know each other. And in fact, she had the party for the Science of Mind 1 graduation at her house, and I was just kind of hanging around afterwards, and we were talking. And I happened to ask about a really adorable stuffed animal, a camel, that was sitting in a corner, looking quite elegant. And she said, oh, Ruth Marie gave me that. And I said, because I knew what college she had gone to, because I had gone to the high school of the same order, I said, Sister Ruth Marie? And she said, yeah, Ruth Marie Gibbons. So it turned out that her mentor in college was my mentor in high school. Not even 6 degrees. Not even. It took our breath, both of us. Someday I'll do a whole talk on Sister Ruth Marie. She was quite amazing. And she came to church and heard me talk about Emerson and loved it. Cool lady. And I just the other day came across a letter from her. I don't know where this has been all of these years. And it's not dated, but she congratulates me on my graduation and thanks me for the picture, which makes me think I must have sent her a picture when I graduated from high school. And she's responding to that. We were to meet again many years later. Not even 6 degrees. In 1929, a Hungarian author whose name I cannot pronounce, but I'm going to try it, Karinthy, Karinthi, wrote a short story that theorized that we could select any person from the then 1.5 billion inhabitants of the Earth, anyone, anywhere at all. Now there are currently approximately 7,874,965,825 people on the planet, headed toward 8 billion by 2023. But Karinthy postulated that using no more than 5 individuals, 5, one of whom is a personal acquaintance, we could contact the selected stranger using nothing except the network of personal acquaintances. So I ask Cac, and Cac asks a friend I don't know, and they ask a friend that neither of us knows, and the game is afoot. I wonder. In the 1980s, why does that sound like so long ago? In the 1980s, a game was created by a couple of college students called 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Remember that? The goal was to link any actor to Kevin Bacon through no more than 6 connections. 2 actors are connected if they've appeared in a movie or a commercial together. And on the 13th of September 2012, Google made it even possible to search for any given actor's Bacon number through their search engine. What a game! 6 degrees of separation has become a catchphrase for the theory that it's a small world, much smaller than we thought or even imagined. But it's really much more than that. Lots of scientific research has gone into determining just how small a world it really is, and just how well this idea of the original social networking might work. Much of that research has substantiated that an average of 6 people really is the degree of separation between most of us and any other living human being on the planet. That's a really small world. There is a related theory that deals with the quality of connections rather than the existence of connections. It's called 3 degrees of influence. It's a theory that social networks have great influence on an individual's behavior, and that social influence does not end with the people we know. We influence our friends, who in their turn influence their friends, meaning that our actions can influence and will influence people we have never met. The theory is that everything we do or say tends to ripple through our network, having an impact on our friends, 1st degree, our friends' friends, 2nd degree, and even our friends' 3 degrees. However, our influence gradually dissipates and ceases to have a noticeable effect on people beyond the 3rd degree of separation for 3 reasons. There really is scientific proof behind all of this. One is intrinsic decay, corruption of the information. You know, kind of like the game telephone where you all sit in a circle and you whisper something to the person next to you who whispers something to the person who whispers. And if the circle is really big, by the time it comes back around again, it's nothing like it started out being. That's intrinsic decay. The second reason is network instability. Social ties become unstable with more than 4 degrees of separation. I mean, how well I know you is one thing, how well I know the people you know is another, and I really don't know the people who you know who know people. You know what I mean. The third reason was evolutionary purpose. We evolved in small groups where everyone was connected by 3 degrees or fewer. So if it gets bigger than that, we lose touch. Interesting, don't you think? I thought it was interesting. I'm sorry if you don't. A lot of time and money has been spent studying all of this. However, at the risk of offending the scientists who have spent copious hours studying these theories, I'd like to submit one of my own, purely unscientifically. What if there really was only 1 degree of separation? What if, because of our connection and relationship with Spirit, we are all also connected to one another? Think on that for a minute. Theoretically, philosophically, spiritually, we say that there is only one, don't we? One life, one spirit, one creative force, and everything comes from the one. That one is that which was in the beginning, however you choose to define the beginning. And since there was nothing else to make things and people and planets and birds and fish and all that stuff, since there was nothing else to make all of that from, all that there is made from the one, the original. So all that there is, even after all this time, is it. So ultimately there is nothing but oneness. There's nothing but unity and completeness. There is nothing but the totality of God, which includes everything and everybody. And you. You can't opt out. Feel free to use your mind here. Begin at the beginning and think this out. All that there is God. Yes? If not, what else is there? And if something else is all there is, then by our definition, that is God, which is all there is. And if it is all that there is, it has to be all that you are. You are part of it. You being something and it being everything. You are part of the wholeness, part of the totality that is the very life of Spirit. You are a piece of the spiritual hologram. And within that hologram, each piece contains what is in the whole, the allness. It's like being a drop of water in the ocean. You've all heard me use this one before. The one drop is not all that the ocean is, but all that it is ocean. Yes. If we think of ourselves as being separate from the life of creation, which is the universe and more, then that will be our experience. And our life will be limited, not by creation, but by our belief. So, working on today's talk, I was looking up Hebrews 3:17. They could not enter in because of their unbelief and because they limited the Holy One of Israel. I love that one. But before I got there, I was stopped at verse 3:6. For every house is built by someone, but the builder of all things is God. That one's worth stopping for. Look at the logic. This is an exceedingly metaphysical passage. If the builder of all things is God, and that means nothing is built without God, which is creation, not an old man sitting on a cloud coming down with a hammer and nails to help put the house together, okay? Creation. All things are built by creation. But every house is built by someone. Does that not seriously imply that creation, which builds everything, works not next to, but through each builder to build his or her own house? And if houses, then why not lives? So creation itself builds this house, this life, and it's perfect. Wouldn't it be if Spirit built it? This perfect, ideal, abundant, peaceful, serene, healthy, loving, love-filled, wise, creative, amazing house life that Spirit built. And then because every house is built by someone, we're involved. And there, I think, is where things get really interesting. We have this house, life, body, that Spirit built, which is perfect. And we have this house, life, body that we have built. Now, if we believe that Spirit built the house, the life, the body, then we enter in joy and thanksgiving. It's very Old Testament, isn't it? Don't we? Wouldn't we? And we abide in this perfect life and house and throw parties and celebrate. But, and this is where I was headed when I was swept off my feet by verse 3:6, Scripture tells us they could not enter in because of their unbelief and because they limited the Holy One of Israel. Is this beginning to make any sense at all? We have perfection. God's house, Spirit's house, God's life. We have it. But we fail to enter into it. We fail to abide in, live in it, not because we don't deserve it, not because God doesn't want us to have it, not because we aren't worthy of it, but because we don't believe. And so we limit the power of Spirit in our lives. I think that's where affirmative prayer comes in. We don't beg God to make the house, the body, the life perfect with affirmative prayer. We state that it already is. We connect back to the basic truth that Spirit built it, so it's perfect. It's already perfect. We may not be seeing it that way, but it is already perfect, and we will see it that way when we believe. We limit the unlimited in our individual lives by not believing. But we think, what you talking about? I do believe. Do you? Really? Pop quiz. Do you believe in God? Do you believe God is unlimited? Do you believe that with God all things are possible? Good. Do you believe that God, Spirit, the creative force of the universe, is right here, right now? Do you? Do you believe that you are one with it right here, right now? Really? Really? Then, if all that you have said is true, what impossible thing are you going to do today? I can't wait to hear. What creative, amazing, healing, prospering things are you going to do right now to prove your belief? I think some of you are looking up at the ceiling. See, here's the deal. We believe in God. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. I know that. And we do believe that God is unlimited. That's kind of the definition of God, isn't it? And we believe that with God, all things are possible. Sort of. And we pretty much believe, when we stop to think about it, that God is right here, right now. Because by definition, which means somebody told us it was so, it is omnipresent. I think the real problem, though, is we just don't necessarily really believe, that God is here with us, as us. Theoretically, we believe. But in practice, I'm not so sure. Probably because we know how often we've made mistakes. We know how often we've acted ungodlike. How often we feel we failed. Or how often we believed we were wrong or wronged. How often we transgressed. And with every thought like that, with every belief like that, every belief that ultimately we are not worthy to be a place where God is, with every belief like that, we create a belief in degrees of separation from God. We put God out there. When it really is right here. Right here. Do I always act like it? Does my life always look like it? No! But it's true. I was reading a thing on prayer the other day, and I wish I had taken some notes, because I'd love to be able to attribute it, but I didn't take notes, and I can't right off the top of my head remember where I saw it. But it talked about the power of prayer and how we teach children to pray. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. That's someone out there. If I should die before I wake. Now there's a great thing for a child to go to sleep thinking about. I pray the Lord my soul to take. Boom. We teach children that God is out there. We don't teach them to pray God, we teach them to pray to God, who must be someplace else. And then because that's the way we learned it, that's the way we pass it on. But that is the way we learned it, and so God forever seems to be out there. When I have a challenge in my life, I try to remember not to look up or out. I try to remember to look within. Not like that, not contemplating my belly button, but to close my eyes and go deeply within and listen there, there. So here's the truth, my friends. There are no degrees of separation between you and God. None. Zero. Because in any moment there is nothing between you and God but a belief. And though it may have an interesting effect on your life, it has no weight, it has no substance. $2,000 ago, Jesus said, "The Father and I are one." And 20 centuries later, millions and millions and millions of people have no problem with that statement. None. Of course we say, look at all he did. Clearly, he was directly connected to God. But friends, he also said, these things that I do, and greater things, you will do. Healing the sick, making the blind see and the lame walk, providing food for the masses and wine for a party. These things that I do, and even greater things, you will do. And for some reason, we kind of pass right over that, or we seem to think that he clearly really didn't mean it, didn't know what he was talking about. The Father and I are one. Jesus and the God he called Father, Creator, were one, are one. It's an eternal relationship. It never really ends. And we are no different. You are no different. Which is why he believed that we would do even greater things than he had done. Each of us is born of the same lineage. Each of us is created from that same divine DNA. Each of us is a child of creation. Each of us is into living our lives as God in expression. But it only looks that way to the degree that we refuse to accept any separation. The Father and I are one. Ladies, you can make that the Mother and I. God doesn't care. God is neither male nor female. It is a power. It is a force. It is an energy. It is an intelligence. It is so beyond our defining it that we get all twisted up in our semantics when we try. The Spirit and you are one. There are no degrees of separation. There is no space between you and Spirit. There is none. It is closer than your next breath. There is nothing you have ever said or not said that could separate you from Spirit. There is nothing anyone has ever thought or not thought that could separate you from Spirit. There is nothing you or anyone else have ever done or not done that could separate you from the God, the good, that is your highest truth. And it's right there where you are. You are not only sitting with it, you are sitting on it. 6 degrees of separation between you and a total stranger. Someone on the other side of the world. That's pretty remarkable. Yet we accept it. But even more remarkable is that there is no degree of separation between you and God. Between you and the creative force of the universe and beyond. no degree of separation between you and the realization of your fondest dreams and highest aspirations, because although someone must build the house, and it's your house, so you got to build it, it is God that does the building. You and the Spirit are one. And whatever work needs to be done, whatever building needs to occur, the Spirit within you will do it. Your job, should you choose to accept it, is to believe. And then act accordingly. Here's a prayer for you. Notice that it asks for nothing except your awareness. I believe in the presence of God within me. I believe in the power of God within me. I believe in the love of God within me. I believe in the prosperity of God within me. I believe in the wisdom of God within me. I believe in the healing power of God within me. I believe in the completeness of God within me. I need nothing more. And so it is. Okay, Jen, I want to know, what are the 2 impossible things you've already done this weekend? I want to know. Yeah, while Jennifer's answering my question. Yes, Heidi, you are spirit and there is no separation. The variation in experience is awareness and remembering. Staying awake. Buddha was asked one time what his secret was. He said, I'm awake. I'm awake. I like your Maurice Sendak story, Heidi. See, Recognizing that brings more of that into your life. That's why it's important, I think. We tend to have, we've all had little miracles. Sometimes big miracles happen in our lives. Yes? Yes. And then we kind of forget about them, don't we? We go about our daily lives and we forget that this miraculous thing happened, that we participated in a modern day miracle. And so they seem not to happen as often. Not because they can't, but because we don't expect them. Now, if you are a place where God is, I'm saying if. No, I'm not. You are a place where God is, and miracles should be happening around you all of the time. And they will when you get it. Staying awake, bingo. All right, you Jennifer, yay. Good girl. I love you, Kirk. I love all of you guys. I really do. You're a pretty spectacular group. You little miracle workers, you. So, what else? If you are a place where God is, you, right there, where you are, right now, dressed however you're dressed, you don't have to get formal for this. What impossible thing are you going to do today to prove it? Bingo, Heidi. Bingo. See, I think sometimes we just have to put it out there. Without saying, oh, well, this will be impossible. Don't negate it when you put it out there, which is real easy to do sometimes. Just accept it. Put it out there. I accept that. And then let it go. Let go like God's a real thing, But it's not a God out there that goes, well, that one, yeah, okay. That one's been good. She can have that. That one over there, I don't know. That isn't it. It's the intelligence of the universe working through you to make things happen. Not the little you, who's the compilation of all the things that you've done wrong and maybe done a few things right, and not that you, the bigger you that's inside. There's a bigger you inside you. Think on that. And what if it gets out? What if it explodes into the universe? Yay, Heidi. Happy to hear about Kathy. Hooray, 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 hooray. Okay. Can I take her off the prayer list? Do you want me to leave her there a little longer? Just let me know. You put her on. No, I'm going to let you decide to take her off or not. But I'm thrilled. Yay. Oh, you guys. You are an amazing group. You are, you are, you are. You are. So what can we do you think? What can be done to shrink that perceived distance What can you do in your life? How can you, what beliefs do you need to change to shrink that distance and make no degrees of separation between you and God? My theory is jump in. Just start acting like it. There may be those who think that you're a little whack job to begin with, but yeah, so what? There are people who probably already think that. Let your life be the proof. What can you do to be brighter, stronger, more aware, more involved? We've got an amazing theology. We have an amazing philosophy, if you will. But we've got to use it. Yes, Dana, good point. Reframing negative thoughts. Yes, yes, yes. If you find yourself thinking negative thoughts, rethink them. How can you look at the same situation in a more positive, more God-present way? If God's right smack in the middle of it, because God is right smack in the middle of you in your life, what do you need to change your mind about? Absolutely true, Jennifer. Keep practicing. Keep practicing, keep remembering. Keep reminding yourself, God is where I am, and all is well. I don't care what it looks like. That's when you need to know it the most, is when it doesn't look like it. It's easy when it does. Keep practicing. Keep saying what you need to say. Keep thinking what you need to say until it becomes so automatic you can't remember when you thought any other way. That's what works. And the more you practice, the more you practice, the more you're going to experience. The more you experience, the easier it is to believe, and the easier it is to believe. It's a great cycle. It's an upward spiral, as opposed to the downward kind that we sometimes seem to get trapped in. I get faith in all of you. Let us be wise enough. Let's care enough to not litter our minds with debris from the past or worries about the future. If we think right today, tomorrow will take care of itself. And then that perfect pattern within you will be revealed, and there will be no stopping you. Not that there's much stopping any of you right now. And I'm glad of that. So let's pray, shall we? Shall we? I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or simply soft focus if that works better. Do what's right for you. And I affirm today that all that there is God. Being that which was in the beginning, Everything is made of it, from it. Everything. And we are part of the everything. And so just as God spoke on the first day and said, let there be light, so too we speak and say, let there be light, let there be healing, let there be joy, let there be love, let there be. And that which we call into being becomes, because we believe deeply and surely and strongly. And our belief becomes a knowing, and that knowing becomes the outpicturing of the Spirit within us. All that there is that. And we celebrate it. We celebrate its presence in our life. We celebrate its power in our life. We celebrate that we are, each of us, expressions of the infinite, with the power to speak into our world great new adventures and experiences, with the power to create the miraculous. And so I know today that all of those who have asked for prayer receive it, and receive that for which they have asked. We hold Brenda in our thoughts and prayers, and know for her perfect healing and clarity, power. We know that God moves in her, as her, and through her to create the miraculous. And so it is. We know that CAC and any others who are under the weather today are lifted up above the clouds into the clarity of knowing and healing that is the absolute living presence of God in each of their lives. We know that world leaders who are meeting this week are touched by the presence of something greater and are embraced in wisdom and experience the miraculous. And I know that each of those within the sound of my voice are reminded and refreshed and renewed in their own personal power, and their belief is made stronger, and their actions more healing, and their words more inspiring, and their lives more beautiful. I know that there is a power for good in the universe, and we are all using it for good. And I am grateful, so very grateful for that. And for the life within each one of us and within this ministry. And I know that we are here for good. And we let that be so. And so it is. I'm going to ask each of you to repeat after me. Some of you will remember these words. I know you will. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. And life is in all my affairs. I think it. I feel it. I believe it. And I accept it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. And thank all of you for being here today. Always grateful for your presence. We'll be back here, same time, same place, next Wednesday. I love you all. Take care. Go work some miracles. What else have you got to do? Make the world a better place just because you're in it.